fly tipping, industrial waste, rubble, timber, entire cars and parts thereof, beer cans and condoms. They all seem to litter every nook and cranny.
We're here by motorcycle club, east side of Gibraltar, right beside the water tanks. And we've just been sorting out all this rubbish this morning, right under the cliffs. Down here we found a lot of industrial waste, a lot of cardboard, glasses, bottles, cans, tins, fences, absolutely anything you can imagine, cement, car batteries. It's absolutely a disgust, I believe.
But tell me, you've done this for 2 or 3 years running?
3 years running now, yes.
Yeah, and this is this year's lot, isn't it?
This is this year's lot, yes. Last year, for the past 2 years, we've been working in this area, and we've left it spotless. But unfortunately, as soon as we come back the next years, we've realized that it's actually becoming worse. People don't seem to respect that people are coming out of their time and volunteering to try and make our Gibraltar a better place. And every year we come, it just gets worse. It doesn't seem that people show a lot of respect for it.
You've been abseiling down to the actual shoreline.
Yes.
What's it like down there?
It's absolutely disgusting. I assume that most of the rubbish that is coming in is actually coming down from the sea, but you can also see that there's a lot of stuff that we can see that is probably being done by locals, probably youth coming on the weekends, throwing the bottles of alcohol, Heineken bottles, etc. And there's a very, very big area of stone and soil, and under the soil is completely still packed of cans, cardboard and stuff from previous years. It's just escalating as years go by.
The proposed reclamation area, now looking more like a desert of rubble by Eastern Beach, and the approach to one of our major hotels was targeted by a team of first-time volunteers from Party Gaming.
I'm quite appalled at what I found. The amount of plastic bags and fishing nets, tin cans, toilet paper, sweet wrappers. I mean, it's everything everywhere. It's just...
Basically, obviously, this is all domestic stuff and people throwing things around. What do you feel when you see yourself picking up other people's rubbish?
Disgusted, really. I'm disgusted in the people of Gibraltar as well, because they're not taking care of their community. It's their community, they've got to live there, their children have got to live here, and they're just not looking after it. Charlotte's come an hour's drive from Estepona to come and clean up Gibraltar, and she doesn't even live here. So, I mean, she's dedicated to a cause that people that live here should be dedicated to.
It's not just Gibraltar though, it's the whole world.
It is everywhere.
People need to take responsibility for their rubbish. Could do with more bins around the place. I mean, places like this, people come to the beach, there's been a lot of people coming here, but there's not one dustbin. So, it could do with the government looking around and actually putting more bins around the place, and ones with lids.
Schools can also be relied upon to help. This is the 3rd year that students from our local schools turn up in droves to help clean up. This year they tackled the slopes below the casino, a sight for sore eyes if ever there was one, and a real threat to public health. The irony is that it is a throughway for residents of the area, some of whom told a reporter that it is the fault of several inconsiderate fellow residents.
The girls, there were 2 different points of view. One of them was how disgusting, it's horrendous, the things that people throw, let alone the amount of it, as well as being excited to work together and doing something a little bit more exciting. They had quite a lot of fun over the 2 days that we cleaned up there.
How important do you think it is that girls or students, let alone the gender, should take part in this kind of event?
Extremely important. For several reasons. One, it opens up their eyes as to what there actually is around Gibraltar.
In fact, over the years, you've worked with a hell of a lot of people, basically. We've prepared another little piece for you to watch with people who've worked with you in the past.
Mario, as a person, possibly one of the most wonderful people I have ever come across in my life. I don't think he's got an enemy in the world, and that in a small place like Gibraltar, I think that is quite a feat. Everybody who knows him, I think, gets to love him. You can love Mario.
As an artist, I think he's great. His paintings are ambitious. His color is very vivid, very daring. His canvases get bigger, which means that he's very sure of himself as an artist. And as a human being, he's a wonderful person.
From the beginning, when I first met him, which was about 20 years ago or more, I got an impression of a very dynamic person, somebody who was full of interest, for not just for art, but for life generally. He was always telling me ideas. I remember even in the beach in the summer, you know, we always used to discuss different things that had come up in science or art or whatever. And I remember sometimes I just used to have to say, look, hold on a minute, you know, let me digest what you've given me, because I've got to think this out first and then go on to the next, no? So he's always a very exciting person to talk to. He's always been a good friend too, no?
Man of enormous vitality and enthusiasm. I think whatever else was happening in the school, you knew if you had a visitor and you wanted to impress him, you took him to the art room, and there was always something there that was exciting and interesting. It was really very surprising for a man, and when I got to know him, he was already in his 50s. He was very much like any young new teacher come from college, full of vitality, an inspiration for everybody.
He is an active artist. He paints every day, whereas other people aren't prepared to do that. And the only way to get far in terms of getting better and achieving different styles like he does is by working.
His main strength, I think, is that he has an eye for the simple detail, the kind of thing that transforms a set from something very humdrum to something that suddenly comes alive, and usually very economical. His sets don't cost a lot of money to build, but I've got to the stage now where I will not do a play if I can't go to Mario and say, look, Mario, this is what I want to do. Can I do it? This is my idea. And he'll tell me, yeah, it'll work, or it won't work. And then when I get to the next stage and I feel stuck, I go back to him, and he comes up with another idea. And 95% of the time, they're winners, all of them.
I've worked with Mario for 15, 16 years, and it's funny, I've never seen him ruffled, I've never seen him upset. Not once have I seen Mario sort of with a worried look on his face, or, you know, really upset about anything. He's just got this permanent smile and laugh. You know, I envy him, because I think, you know, I wish I could be like him.
Obviously, thanks to him, we have also the Art Centre, which is, thanks to him and a few other people, but mainly I think in his role as an artist, he has made sure that the Art Centre has kept on going, and we have a place there where we can exhibit work and where we can meet, you know, as artists, apart from other things that have been going on there. So now he's retired, I think he's even working harder than before.
Mario, he says you're working harder than ever before, possibly, but it's difficult, isn't it, for artists here to make any sort of progress at the moment?
Yes, Gibraltar needs to be propped up culturally. You know, Gibraltar needs a support, an infrastructure like we have for the economy. I think we need an infrastructure for culture, for the cultural development of the city. And I think it has to go in par with the development, economic development of a country. Has to be kept in par with the social and cultural development of that country. Otherwise, we cannot bank on just pure finances.
This contestant number 5, please answer it for our photos.
And now, in second place, the first princess, run-up to Miss Gibraltar 2001. And the first princess is contestant number 8, Suyen McNeese, Miss Norwich Union.
So yeah, McNeese the runner-up to Miss Gibraltar. She takes a £1,000 cash prize, a trophy by the Gibraltar Crystal and a bouquet of flowers courtesy of Gibraltar Flora. And now, time to announce the winner. Miss Gibraltar 2001 is... Contestant number 6, Luann Richardson. She is Miss...
Colombia in the natural environment. 18,000 in captivity, but a large proportion of those have been used for medical research. But the ones that are in captivity, we're trying to get the levels up and get a good stable genetic mix so that eventually they can be put back into the wild. I'm not sure about these particular ones, but eventually that's the plan worldwide, that they will be put back into the wild, into Colombia.
So, I mean, Itchy and Scratchy were brought over last year, and of course this is miles and miles away from Colombia, so they must be settling in quite well, and I imagine that you guys are hoping that the twins will do so too.
Yeah, they've done very well. I mean, obviously it takes a while for them to settle into the point where they'll breed, and this is about the right time really for them to start breeding. They have tried to breed before but had a miscarriage, but that gave us good news that they were actually doing what they should be doing. And yeah, they were brought over from Newquay Zoo, so obviously the climate here is a little bit better for them than they're used to over there, so hopefully that'll be great. I mean, with the twins' arrival, we'd like to extend the cage eventually, the enclosure, maybe have a tunnel for them to run up into the trees and things like that. So there's lots planned now that we've got the twins here, so it's very exciting.
So, I mean, what's the normal process like for keeping an eye on these tamarins here in the wildlife park?
They're actually the first things fed in the morning. They'll have their porridge very early with the vitamins and everything. So they're the first things we see, which is very nice. They're always waiting for us. Then they'll have a lunchtime feed and a clean. And at tea time they'll have what you've just seen, the mealworms and sometimes the gum, which is the natural gum from the trees, and just general sort of enrichment throughout the day. So yeah.
So how are they doing? How is Itchy and Scratchy, and how are the twins in these last few days since they were born?
Well, actually they did incredibly well. We weren't entirely sure of the history of whether they had bred before. The problem with tamarins, if they haven't had the experience in their family group of bringing up offspring with the parents, they maybe wouldn't be very good parents themselves. But obviously they've settled in amazingly well. I mean, I was expecting chaos, but came in and found a peaceful family, very happy. So it all went incredibly well. So we're very pleased.
The twins don't have names yet, but the Wildlife Park are giving youngsters the chance to name them via the website at www.gibraltargardens.gi. One of the twins has already been identified as male, so the names can now start to roll in. One thing's for sure, if Mum and Dad have settled well on the rock, there's no reason why the twins won't either.
Many of them already knew, and they've also been lining the streets to see the new Miss World. Okay, I'm being informed by my colleagues here that we can now see those pictures of the arrival a little earlier today at Gibraltar Airport. The private jet touched down at 4:05 this afternoon. You can see the Defence Fire Service, fire and rescue tenders there carrying the Gibraltar flag, and also many people there, which include family and friends. Michael Beltran, our reporter, was there earlier. Michael, what sort of an atmosphere was it down there at the airport?
An absolutely incredible atmosphere down there, James. It was a mixture of surrealism and absolute, it's just an extraordinary vision to see when that plane came along, and particularly with the flags outside.
We were talking earlier how Cayenne left as Miss Gibraltar on a commercial airliner and coming back to Gibraltar as Miss World on a private jet. What a dramatic change to her lifestyle.
Absolutely. I was there when I managed to speak to Cayenne just before she departed Gibraltar. She was very much looking forward to the experience. I think deep down inside she knew that perhaps Gibraltar will do admirably, but perhaps no one could have ever anticipated this result.
Okay, we're watching those pictures. They were recorded just after 4 this afternoon. The Rock of Gibraltar there in the background, the red carpet being laid, and this is now going to be the moment that Miss World Cayenne Aldorino returned back home. Let's just stay with those pictures, Michael, as they of course prepare for that important moment. And many tears. Was it emotional?
I think it was most definitely emotional. In particular, I mean, there you see the plane has landed, they're ready for Cayenne, but as soon as the plane was visible in the air, the crowd was already going crazy. So all they needed was those doors to open, and then it was chaos.
I think it's a bit like here this afternoon, isn't it? We knew that the car was driving past Main Street and Parliament. We heard the big cheer here at John Mackintosh Square.
And I can't imagine the deafening noise that we will hear here.
Okay, there's the door being opened as we speak, and I'm so eager to see this, Michael. I can't wait. There it is, the moment that Cayenne Aldorino arrived in Gibraltar today. Chief Minister Peter Caruana giving Cayenne the first kiss and a big hug. And it has to be said, Michael, she looks absolutely amazing. What deportment.
Absolutely incredible. The minute she walked out there, she looked like Miss World. She walked like Miss World. It was unbelievable. Certainly, I think it's fair to say, a bit of a transition from the girl that left Gibraltar about a month ago.
And we've been seeing all those headlines, of course, rock star. What a fantastic headline that is.
Absolutely, and indeed it's all around the world. Gibraltar being put on the map prominently by this stunning victory by Cayenne, looking ever the Miss World.
And there's been a special feature in the Gibraltar Chronicle full-colour supplement today with that Miss World calendar. But there's an advert from the Gibraltar government that I'd like to quote, because I think it very much sums up the feeling in Gibraltar. It says, "Welcome home, Miss Gibraltar, Miss Continental Europe, Miss World, but more importantly, perhaps, welcome home to a beautiful and special Gibraltarian."
Iron Lady is said to have obsessed that while the armed forces were distracted by war in the South Atlantic, the Spanish might attempt to retake the Rock.
In papers released today to the National Archives under the 30-year rule, the Ministry of Defence explains to the Prime Minister that post-fascist Spain wouldn't want to antagonise the UK, given that she was eager to join the European community. The MOD said that the land connecting Spain to Gibraltar was easy to defend, and that in any case reinforcements could be sent to the rock within 7 days. But relations between the UK and Spain were poor in 1982. The Gibraltar border was to be reopened. Franco had closed it in 1969. Mrs. Thatcher remained uneasy about Gibraltar's situation. In a second report, the Joint Intelligence Committee concluded the only risk to Gibraltar lay with rogue elements in the Spanish armed forces staging an unauthorised assault as an act of bravado. According to the Guardian newspaper, upon receiving this report, Thatcher wrote in blue felt pen, "This looks suspiciously like the Falkland Islands assessments before invasion." The UK sent an infantry company to Gibraltar as well as anti-aircraft missiles. When it became known the Spanish were planning to hold an amphibious exercise about 35 miles west of the rock in late April that year, the Governor, Sir William Jackson, asked for operational aircraft capable of dealing with an amphibious group just in case. 2 Jaguars were sent to reinforce the garrison. The Spanish exercise in April passed off peacefully, but in September the Joint Intelligence Committee warned Mrs. Thatcher that should rogue units of the Spanish forces attack the rock, there wouldn't necessarily be any warning, and thus no time to send reinforcements. The Prime Minister deployed a large number of agents to cover a wide belt of territory in Andalusia. This new information on a very intriguing chapter in the rock's history emerges as official UK papers have today been declassified.